As we begin with our conversations this morning, the University of Namibia has introduced a special registration relief to help eligible senior undergraduate students to complete their studies. Qualifying Namibian students with historic debt below 50,000 Namibian dollars may now register without settling the full amount upfront, subject to a signed payment agreement. Now, this once-off agreement is time-bound and replaces all previous payment announcements to keep their graduation dreams alive. Joining us with more on this is the Manager for Public Relations and Media Operations at the University of Namibia, and that is Simon Namesho. Mr. Namesho, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Napo, and good morning to your viewers.
All right, good morning. This is definitely good news, for some of our viewers out there, who perhaps to the students of the University of Namibia. But what motivated UNAM to introduce this special registration relief?
Thanks, Napo. The UNAM has observed a recurring absence of our returning students, especially during this time, and they usually squeeze it all the way to the last period of their registration period. So after looking at our data, we realized that most of the students that are not yet registered are returning students, and those ones that didn't, the returning students also owe historic debt. And it's not because they don't have access now to able to pay for registration fee, or they don't have access to the subsidized tertiary funding module that's available. It's just because they have historic debt. So when we look at all that data, we realize that these students are going to be excluded and they might not be able to register for the academic year.
When will this be in place, or when is it effective? From when?
Yes. So this arrangement has started yesterday, the 28th of January. So all the students by yesterday, the financial block which was on their status on the student portal has been uplifted, and they should be able to register right now.
All right. But seeing that it started yesterday, did you guys see an increase in, the undergraduate students coming back and actually registering?
Yes, that's correct. By yesterday, and even actually this morning, before I came, we checked the data. There is actually an upward trend of already returning students coming. Yesterday, we were at 16,900 students who have registered in total at UNAM, and then by yesterday, this morning, we are registering at about 20,000 students who are registering. And our mark goes all the way up. We are targeting close to 28,000 students this year, so we are hoping that all those students by then would have returned.
28,000, does that also include the incoming students?
Yes,
from high school?
Yes, total student population at UNAM for the 2026 academic year usually floats between 28,000 29,000 per year.
Earlier on, I did mention it's for those who owe the university $50,000 and they have to be Namibians. What other requirements, or who else qualifies for this?
Yes. For us, it's very important that this is for Namibian senior returning students. That's one. And then two is for students that have historic debt below 50,000. So those are the students that qualify for this. You should be then you should be able to sign a repayment arrangement with the university, and then you qualify for that.
Yeah. So how might this once-off registration relief affect students' ability to complete, their studies on time, and those perhaps who qualify for this special registration?
This affects them positively, because then it allows them able to register for the academic year. And number two, some of them might not have been at UNAM maybe the previous academic year because of historic debt. So this now allows them to return to UNAM and register and progress in your academic year. So that's the beauty of this. So it has so much positive connotations around it, and we have been receiving positive feedback from the student population as well to say, thank you so much, this is quite good. And this is not just a self-initiative from the university. This came about actually after a conversation, after listening to the student and looking at the data. So all these things, when you put them together, then the university was just like, all right, we have an academic as well as a social responsibility around this.
And is this like a once-off, initiative that is taking place at UNAM, or do we see this happening for the upcoming years?
For us, it's not a blanket statement. It's an intervention which came about looking at what we have at the moment, and that to say, yes, this is what is facing us as a university, so we need to look at what we can do. So this is a now targeted approach for this academic year. So for any other, because you would notice this was not there before, nor can we say that the data will be saying the same thing come January 2027.
Yeah. What responsibilities do students take on by signing, a payment agreement instead of settling their full historic debt upfront?
The students are taking on a legal binding, especially when they come to sign the repayment acknowledgement letter. So that is a very legal aspect about it. So that's very important that the students realize that they have to honor this. And they're also taking on a financial responsibility, because many of them would say, I'm not able to pay now between this time of registration, but come February, I would have done A, B, and C economic activities, and I would be able to afford to pay.
Yeah.
So all those measures, then we looked at them and then say, okay, well, that's well, all good and well. Come and then when we put this measure whereby we say, make sure that you have signed this agreement before or on the 16th of February 2026. Then thereafter, there are then other measures in place to say, if you have not fulfilled your commitment as time goes, there are certain measures that will kick in. That will be like, for example, exclusion on your student portal, as well as potentially you're going to be deregistered, because that's how serious the matter is.
Yeah.
But as we stand, it's really of a helpful nature because it's not blocking you to register, it's allowing you to register, and then wouldn't manage your debt.
Yeah. How about those students who perhaps owe more than $50,000? What happens to them? Say, for instance, I owe the university $60,000. Am I allowed to pay off my $10,000 debt and then also fall in this category of the relief payment?
That's so much correct, Napewa. So that is the aim. So if you owe, in the same example that you used, if you owe 60,000 Namibian dollars to the university as a historic debt, the university is now saying, reduce that 60,000 historic debt to 50,000 or below. And then you qualify for this, for you to be able to register now.
Yeah.
So that's what you're saying. So if you have 52,000 or 60,000, then make sure that you bring that down just at 50,000 or just below, and then you're able to be unblocked from your financial block which you have. However, the students that already have below 50,000 historic debt, they're going to be unblocked automatically by the system. If you have historic debt that is above that, you then have to come to the university and say, I owe 51,000. Here is my 1,000. I want to reduce my historic debt from 51 to 50, and then they'll block you. So those are the small distinction between the unblocking of students.
Yeah. So Simon, I'm sure after the research that you have done, what are some of the potential long-term effects that this policy could have on UNAM's financial sustainability?
The university is committed to financial sustainability. That's one. In terms of this long-term effect, well, let's start the short-term one, is that there will be, of course, a number of the historical debt that we have will be there, will be standing, we'll be looking at it. And then the short-term also arrangement is that the students who could not register will now be able to register. The long-term benefit of this is that we are then be reducing our debt because we'll be looking at that and they'll be managing the payment arrangement for you to be able to pay. Because those measures that are there are strict and they will be automatic on the system. No one will come and start looking for you and say, oh, Dapewa is here, let me exclude him from the system. This is going to be an automated system whereby you realize that, oh, I don't have access anymore to the library, I don't have access to the student portal, I don't have access to this venue, etc. It's because you didn't measure that. When you come to us, we'll say, oh, no, you have agreed to this, and then you should be able to do that. So in the long term, we will be managing our debt. And also in the long term, we'll just also be removing a number of, we'll be increasing our throughput of graduates. So we do not be having graduates or potential graduates who are clocked in the system because of a historic debt of 20,000 or 2,000 because there was no potential arrangement in place. So this is what this allows over the long period.
All right. Mr. Namesho, can you just give us a rundown of how to proceed with this registration and the requirements that are needed once again for the special registration?
As it stands, for senior students who are eligible and returning students, the financial block happened, the unblocking happened yesterday, blank, that's automatically, that's one. So when you see that, you shouldn't be able to go and see the repayment arrangement document on your student portal. So if you are registering remotely, you should be able to do that online. If not, you should then come to the nearest campus so that you can sign that repayment agreement document so that you're then able to continue to register. So only when those 2 points have happened can you then register. That is one, the financial unblocking happens automatic. Two, you need then to sign and acknowledge your historic debt, and then from there on you register into the program of your previous studies.
Say I owe the university close to $50,000 and I'm expected to graduate in April, if not May, or perhaps just sometime this year. Am I still eligible to graduate? Do I still get my degree, or does the university withhold my degree?
Yes, okay. So this arrangement currently is not for students that have completed their studies.
Okay.
It is for students who are returning students to come and continue their studies. So there's a difference for us. So that is, it's targeting that. And because it's not a blanket statement to say all sundry bad debts that we have or historic debt that we have will be open. For you, there are still arrangements outside this that you still need to come and engage the university on and say, I am potentially to graduate in May or in April, and I have a historic debt. How can I put arrangements in place so that I pay my historic debt by the time of graduation? So your conversation will be separate from the returning students who are coming back to go into class.
All right. Anything else you'd like to bring to our attention with regards to this conversation?
Yes. I just want to share with our students, our returning students, that they shouldn't take long. They should be proactive. This conversation that is open now is really more of an engagement. You need to come forward. Don't just hear about it and keep quiet and stay at home.
Yeah.
Make sure that you approach the university. If it's not clear, make sure that you approach your student leaders. They are also fully aware around this. You need to have the right information with you. That's very important for us. And then two, just to share that registration is going to be ending end of this month, 31st of January. So it's important that you do everything that's within your powers to register and take advantage of this opportunity by then. We do have late registration that is happening from the 2nd to the 6th of February, but we really want to encourage that you do not wait and the early bird catches the worm.
Of course. Well, Mr. Namesho, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We love what you've done, for your, students that are coming back. And yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us and for that information this morning.
Thank you so much. As I said, this was really a listening exercise from the university side. And it's always a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for having me.
All right.